Hi, Libras, all of you beautiful Libras out there. It is time for your April reading, an overview of the month of April 2021. And I hope it's going to be a good one because I want to do a fantastic, unbelievable reading right now. I'm totally in the mood for something just beyond anything magical and starstruck and all that good stuff. Like really crazy good. Good. Fabulous. I have two daughters who are Libra, so I don't want to give them a crappy reading. And, all the other Libras out there who I'm so crazy about. Libra is a very cool sign, and you're very cool people, and amazing and fun, and also very practical, very intelligent, very interesting. Have a lot going on. So let's make it a good one. I'm just going to do a simple little 12 card situation to see what we can say for Libra this April. This is kind of an interesting reading. I mean, they're all interesting in one way or another, but this one, a lot of court cards going on here. A nice little mixeroo. Let's check it out. Let's just get into it here. Temperance. Temperance is a card that can often come up when you're drinking too much, smoking too much, shopping too much, doing something too much. That wonderful little reminder, I get it a lot, to not do anything too much, to tell you, be more reasonable, you person who's overdoing something. But it can also have to do with like walking the middle line and not being too extreme in one area or another, like not being too crazed about politics and cause fights with everybody, or cause any big drama at your family gathering over nothing, just let's have a fight. I've found that comes up for that. Or there's a time and a place for everything. We don't always have to exert every opinion we've ever had everywhere. I am a very opinionated person. I do say things that, maybe I shouldn't sometimes, but that's probably why I get the card, and sometimes we do have to put the brakes on if we want to make people around us happy, which sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. So you evaluate your situation and act accordingly. But if it's something you're doing too much that's causing you harm, and yes, certain things we say sometimes can cause us harm in the long haul, depending on who you're dealing with, maybe think about that and alter it if it needs to be altered. So the King of Cups. The King of Cups is a very passionate dude. He's a good king, very judicious, very solid. It could be somebody he runs a good kingdom, so to speak, whether that be a business or a home or whatever. Passion, somebody who can really deal with emotional situations and deal with them well. Maybe somebody you can go to advice for in those matters if it's a person. If it's not a person that maybe it's a facet of your personality, being able to do those things. I'm really surprised at how well Libras deal with all kinds of social situations and, things that are upsetting to me that I would have to take action on and freak out about and make some problematic mess out of. They can be a little cool, and that can be a good thing. And they can also be really, kind of chill in general, so everything doesn't, rip them apart, which is also good. So, maybe you still, in spite of all of that, have this, more warm and loving side, which is also effective. Like, we don't want to be so mushy that we can't function on the planet. I'm not suggesting that. But, it's good to have all these different aspects of your personality that work together to create something that works for you. And the Page of Cups, that whimsical guy, he's a a great little page. It can be a child, it can be a young person that you know, somebody artistic, fun, kind of fanciful, somebody who is sometimes into the arts, or something a little different, a creative thinker, somebody who tends to be a really positive force, sometimes very funny. That can be another aspect of these guys. So, or gals, whoever you're talking about. Male, female in the cards is totally interchangeable. So, if you don't know somebody like that, again, maybe that's a part of you. Maybe you have all these interesting little, things going on in your personality. Or sometimes these court cards can be like a reminder that we need some of this. Maybe this is like I say, Libras can tend to be quite cool and calculating. So sometimes it's a reminder to, play up your more passionate side, or play up your more passionate fun side. Don't be too heavy duty or work oriented, or, always practical. You can step off the beaten path once in a while, and as long as it's enjoyable for you and positive for you. And sometimes the pages can be messengers. So here we've got the Page of Wands and the Page of Cups. Sometimes they're bringing a message about, whatever the particular page is. Like if it's the Page of Cups, it can be something about love or relationships or something of that nature, or a family member, something that's close to your heart, so to speak. And, if it's the Page of Wands, sometimes it's about action, like something you're trying to put into action. You're trying to start a new business. You're trying to, you know, build something, make something, and the message can be about something to do with that. Maybe you're doing it with somebody else and they're, corresponding with you about that, or whatever, some kind of a message. It's not always the case, but it can often be the case. The Page of Wands is again, a child or a young person who's learning how to take action to get the goal that he wants in the end. And so, there's always learning with these guys because they're young, but it's also, the learning is really fast and furious, and to get to the result that they want to get to, whatever it may be. And in the case of the Page of Wands, it is an active card. It's an action card. It's one where things are happening. Things are starting to happen. Maybe you're acquiring some skills about doing something that you want to put into action. And it's representative of that, possibly. This card is about a decision, something that you have to pick. And as we all know, that's not always super duper easy. We don't always like to make choices. But Libras tend to be fairly good at it because you're good at evaluating all the stuff involved and then being quite practical about what's going to happen. One thing I'm kind of impressed with about Libras, and I've known many, is they often are good at setting out a time frame for something to happen within, and if it doesn't happen in the time, they go, forget it then. Or, if it doesn't happen with the time frame, then they pick something else or make something else happen as an alternative that may sometimes even be better than the first options that were presented. But here, I'm thinking that you have something that you're trying to decide between whether to go here, whether to go there, whether to have this thing, whether to have that thing. So, swords represent air or the intellect or thoughts. So she's wearing a blindfold, and you don't want to be blindfolded in these matters. So make sure you're seeing everything and not wearing that blindfold. You really, really, really want to whip that thing off and just really look at all the hard, cold facts. And that's something Libras tend to be good at. They're not afraid of evaluation or looking at things clearly. And, sometimes we have to make these decisions to achieve the balance we want in life. And you guys are also pretty darn good at achieving balance generally. The Hanged Man. So this one tends to be about going inside yourself, meditation and introspection and all that kind of stuff, where you're really trying to kind of find yourself and come out on the other side with some wisdom and insight and all of that, so that you can move ahead in a way that is really good and positive. And so it's a very good card. It doesn't look great, but it's a good card because it means take some time for yourself. Not always easy, but if you possibly can, do it. And give yourself some time to think. one of the things about having cell phones and gadgets everywhere that, people who've had it their whole life don't always understand is that then you really don't have any mental downtime to kind of work things out and just think about freewheeling thoughts that sort of flow through your mind. So, maybe put the cell phone away for an hour or two here or there and give yourself some space to just kind of figure things out and actually think, without having other things make you think about them, which is really kind of a gift to yourself if you can possibly manage it. This is a lovely card of celebration. The Nine of Cups. Cups are about feelings and emotions, and this one is about having a good time and celebrating and also having the prosperity to maybe give a party or have a gathering. Maybe it's a celebration for something fantastic that really makes you happy and brings loved ones together and people you care about, friends, family, whoever you want to have at your gathering. It's a very, very happy and positive card about good feelings, good times, something to celebrate. I mean, we don't always need an excuse, right? Celebrate for whatever you want to celebrate about. Um, the Ace of Pentacles, also a very, very good card. Um, this is the beginning of something new, maybe just a thought or maybe something you're just starting to put into motion. It is something that is, it could be health related, it could be financial, it could be something like an investment that you're just going to start up with, or maybe you're going to buy a home and that's an investment, obviously, but it's something financial that could pan out in the end in a very good way. Maybe it's you're going to get a new job, or you're going to start something health-wise, like start a new exercise regimen, or you're going to eat better, or, something like that. That's what it usually tends to relate to, or just something that's going to give you long-term security, is what this card is about. But it's the beginning of it, the start, the spark, so it's an exciting stage, and it's something that could produce really great results for you. Hopefully it's something you're excited about. This card's coming up a lot lately for a lot of people. I get it a lot. Lately I've been feeling this. It looks like the worst card in the world, but nothing cataclysmic need be happening here. The person in the picture looks very mournful because they're looking at these cups that are spilled. Sometimes we call this the spilled milk card. And looking about as sad as anybody could ever look over 3 excuse me, missed opportunities or mistakes or things that went wrong. But behind him is, a lovely cup or two that are standing and just fine, and maybe even more, that we don't know about. And he could simply turn around and look at those cups and latch on to those things, those opportunities, or things that you already have. It's kind of a good reminder to just not panic about things and freak out about the past or things you haven't done, and really look at what you have done or what you can do, because there's always so much that you can do to have a better, stronger, happier relationship, job, life, everything, whatever it may be. Don't cry over spilled milk. Be happy. Try to really put something into action that's going to make you feel good and passionate and connected, and not like that guy on that card, because he looks pretty darn miserable. The King of Swords. The King of Swords. This card is definitely a card that should resonate with Libra. This fellow is very intellectual. He's very, he runs a good kingdom, good intellect. Might be a person that somebody who knows a lot about, maybe a couple of important subjects that might relate to you, that you could go to for advice or guidance. Or maybe it's you, because you're an air sign and swords are basically air. So it could be you or a part of your personality. Somebody who's very decisive, clinical, calculating in a good way, can really get down to the decision, and is good at learning, and taking that learning and turning it into practical, you know, situations to make life better and more positive and productive. You know, this is a good card, a really good card. Now, this card is a card of definite sorrow and heartache. It does not mean that it's about anything that's necessarily going to happen right this second or even ever. It might be something you're carrying with you. You know, swords are about thoughts, and those thoughts can be gotten rid of. I mean, sometimes it's just the burdens that you're carrying through life. Something bad may have happened to you in the past, and you haven't been able to get rid of those negative thoughts about those events or those people or whatever. And so this is something you carry with you. But you can pull those swords out of that heart. You know, this is not a real beating heart. This is just how this heart represents feelings. And, you know, these bad thoughts are intellectual thoughts. They're just the meaning you give to something. Even if what was lost or what happened was very, very sad, or, you know, that's why you carry it with you. You don't want to let something go that was good at one time. You need to let it go. You do, to progress. But just to mess with your mind here a little, we have the Lovers. And the Lovers is such a beautiful card, such a positive card. And these two cards might have nothing whatsoever to do with each other. But it could also, because the Lovers is a love relationship, a strong, hot, wonderful, terrific, fabulous, connected love relationship. This could be just something you're carrying with you. Because I'm doing a general reading. There are many people involved here, and, I don't know each of you, unfortunately. So I can't give you a deeper reading that is, exactly the way it's personalized to you. So, I mean, it may be one way for some of you and one way for another of you, but it could mean a love that's going to be very painful. It could mean there's somebody you're interested in, or even you're in a relationship that's very, very, very painful. That is also a strong possibility. It can mean that it doesn't always mean that it's going to end. Sometimes people are in very bad relationships or even marriages that are extremely painful. So, I'm hoping that's not the case for you. I really, really am. I'm hoping it's just something that's, maybe it's this guy. Maybe this is the guy in the relationship. He could be the person you're with, for all I know. I mean, that is always a possibility. And maybe that's where the missed opportunities come in too. Or maybe that's what it's about. Maybe you have this love relationship with this person. It's spectacular, and you miss this opportunity for some reason, and that's what's sad. A lot of people right now are in long distance relationships. That's not the happiest situation. Even if it started out amazing. I mean, even that in and of itself can be painful. So maybe it's not even a situation where anything terrible is happening or where it's ended. I mean, I know what this is like, okay? And it's really painful. If you really care about somebody and you're in a long distance relationship, it's painful. And it does feel like you're missing something. And you are, because time is ticking away and you're missing all kinds of opportunities. So that's another possibility. I mean, that's the thing about reading the cards. They're amazing and they're brilliant, and sometimes I get a true brain flash of something that's very specific, but that's probably never going to happen. Well, I don't want to say never, but when a reading is very general like this, the odds of that happening aren't fantastic, because it could be this and it could be this, and for some of you it'll be this, and for some of you it'll be that. So everything I'm giving to you here is rather general, but I hope that it is accurate, and please let me know what you think, and if any of these situations ring true for you, or if you look at something here and then you make a change that turns out to work out well for you because of this spread, I'd be really interested to hear about it. Or dare I even say it, the opposite. I'm interested in every bit of feedback, positive and negative. Anyway, Libra, you have a fantastic month, and I will talk to you soon.